Hey everyone! So today I'm going to make this little journal. I mentioned I think maybe in the last video that I had an awesome paper pack from Wendy at the Papered Rooster. And in that pack was another bunch, and it was gifted to me by someone. And I feel like I want to make something out of that kit to show them what I've done with it. And it was gifted to me by my awesome friend Joanne. I love you to pieces. And I'm working on that today. So believe it or not, this might be the cover. And I've just grabbed out some papers because I've never made one exactly like this before. I've made a hinge journal, and that's what this is going to be, a no-sew hinge journal. But I have not made one quite like this. And this was inspired by May Made It. She made a little photo book with hinging like this. So I messed around a little bit this morning with some white papers to see if it would hold together. Seems like it will. No, me, I didn't complete it. Just did it long enough to see if it would work. So I sat down here and I started working on the cover. Let me show you the papers that were in that pack real quick. These are the papers that I was inspired to do this, to make this journal from. And then these are just some that I had. And these came with that other pack. Aren't they beautiful? I don't know what they are. You know, like what brand or whatever. I'm not really sure, but they're gorgeous. Ugh, gosh. So pretty. I love the colors in that. Just show them to you real quick. I think this one's going to be behind my cover, so I'm going to keep that one fairly close to the top. I love the teals and browns. Do you? I mean, I just think they kind of, I guess, maybe resemble rust or grungy. You know, of course, the teal kind of reminds me of patina or something like that. So those papers, and then I have some papers that I dyed. These were kind of like eco dyeing. I had some flowers and I put them down on some paper and also tea dyed. So there's just spots of the flowers. These were, I don't know how I did these. I think these were tea dyed and then I put some distress spray on them. This was rust dyed paper. These four, actually there's 5 of them, are scrapbook paper. They're a good weight, a little heavier than copy paper, but good weight to put in a journal. Great for writing. Here's another one of my tea-dyed papers that I had a stencil on. This is that elementary school paper, one of my favorites. This was just a piece of Bow Bunny. Another one of those. This is like a time card. It's really heavy, so I thought that might be good to stick in there. And as you can see, not all my papers are the same size. I don't think that's going to be an issue. So, you know, of course, I could be bad wrong, so we're going to see. I've also grabbed out some punches. I've got a square one, a round one, and a heart-shaped one. And I may not use any of them. I don't know, but they're going to be here sitting, waiting at the ready. And also I have some scraps that I had done some die cuts from. These are my jelly print scraps. And book page. Looks like there's a little bit of Italian paper in there. Just different scraps. I also have some tickets here because I think I want to make this hinging from just different things. I don't think I want it all the same. I'm not cutting anything down to the same size. This is my cover, and what I've started with is just an envelope. One of the brown, you know, little envelopes. I've scuffed it up, done a little bit of distress ink, and then I stopped because I thought, really, I should probably show this on camera. So that's what I've done so far, is scuffed up the envelope, and then I glued on these 3 sides. This is an actual vintage, I don't know if that's Italian or French document page, little piece that's left. Real good, sturdy. And I only glued on the 3 sides because after I put all this on, I'm going to slide something behind into this pocket. Like that. And then really, no, I glued that. Okay. So where I was going was, this will be the cover. There'll be something in here. And I have this piece of jelly print fabric. Just laying that down there. And a piece of scrap left from the Italian papers. And I'm going to just put that on the front, just like that. Nothing fancy. But I also noticed in that pack were these numbers. And guess what? I think this is day 14 of Mixed Media March. So I'm going to pull those out at some point. And I don't know if they're going to go on my cover or on a page. But that will be my 14. So I'm going to get my fabric tack out here. And you know what? I'm going to pause this and put my fabric tack in my Sugar Bell bottle. I haven't done that yet. I got this from, can't remember. I'll have to link it below. It was an Etsy shop. It's the same place I got the design journals or something like that. Same place I got the tops for my art glitter glue. And I have a top for this one too, I believe. I think it all came together. I will link her Etsy shop below. It came in this cool little bag. I think this one fits on there. I don't know, but it's going to, because that's what I've done. I'm going to put it on there. So I'm just going to glue around the 3 sides of the fabric. Actually, I might glue it down in the middle because there's not going to be a pocket underneath there. I just don't want to glue all the way over to the edge because if I glue it down, I can't make that a pocket back there. Oh my goodness, this works wonderful. That's coming. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm shocked. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. Yes, I would recommend these 100%. Wow, that comes out great. And honestly, I had not used it until now. You just saw me put it together and make sure I've got all my glue on my page, not stuck anywhere else. Yeah, you just saw me do it. I had not even attempted it till just now. Okay, so I'm going to just put this kind of wherever, right in here. Got some coming off at the top and some at the bottom. So I'm going to wipe that off. I was going to put something underneath, but I don't, believe it or not, don't see anything close. So just wiping that off. That's one thing I love about that glue, that Fabri-Tac. You can just roll it off. And it just rolls up in a ball and doesn't really bother your fingers. Okay, let's make sure I still have my pocket, and I do. And it didn't seep through either, so that's good. Make sure I got that glued down good. Okay, there we go. And now what I thought was I was going to put this underneath it all, like into the pocket. Like that. And it would just give another layer, only it will be a writing spot. See where I want to put that. Doesn't really fit. I think I might just save it for later on. Okay, so I'm going to skip that plan. There's our cover. And here's what I think is going to happen. This is how I think it's going to work great. I think the next piece I want was this one. I really liked this paper. And I did not make my cover big enough to cover that because I wanted some of that to come out. So I'm just going to take a second here and try to arrange my papers. And also, these papers are going to be too tall. These scrapbook ledger looking papers, they're too tall. And I didn't cut them down because I liked it like that. Like the look of it. Okay, so here we are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hinge these together where everything will open up flat, whether it's one page or you have 2 pages, you know, however, whatever you have. So again, I've got single pages, I've got folded pages. I think this is going to work for any of it. And as you can see, I've got stuff coming out the top of my cover everything. And I think I'm using just a sheet of this, of the pack paper, the kit paper, as my back. So, because I really thought that was pretty. And kind of, I think that goes. So I'm going to, that's how I've got it together. I don't even know how many pages are in here. We'll see. So to start, all we're going to do is hinge these. And the different part of it was that on May Made It, she used shapes. And that's the thing. I think you can cut a shape. She did, I don't remember if it was hearts or what it was, but heart shapes, and use them as our hinge. And I'm going to use things even like tickets, these old tickets. I'm going to use them as the hinge, things like this. And so, well, we'll just start with these. So I'm just going to fold them in half. And glue it onto this one. And I kind of like, I want one at the top and one at the bottom. And I'm just going to kind of, you know, eyeball getting it centered. And these are really pretty tickets. They've got some, like they're aged. I like that look. So these do not, you don't have to have all your hinges in the same spot. I'm not going to. I hadn't planned on making them all look even and everything. And let me show you why, because I don't think, you're not going to see these things, I don't think. I could be wrong. So I'm just setting it to the edge, so when I fold it, it's right there at the edge of my paper. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the same. Going to glue it to this sheet. So while it's laid over like this, I'm just going to put on some glue. You could use stickers. You could use fabric. Gosh, the options for this are limitless, I think. I think you could just use anything, really. And I'm just going to fold them both over, just like that. Making sure that I've got my papers even. I kind of got it a little bit crooked, so I'm going to even that up. But I really want them to set even with each other. I think that's going to look better. And I lied. I guess your hinge does show a little bit. So, but I'm still not going to make mine even. I just know that I'm not. Okay, so there is our first page and our cover, just like that. Isn't that cool? I love this. Of course, I always say that. I love this. Of course, you love it or you wouldn't have done it. I'm moving this just a smidge. Trying to. So for my next sheet, this is what I want. I'm just going to kind of even it up because it's going to be taller than my cover, and I like that. I'm good with that. So, again, I'm not trying to make my tabs in the same spot. If you want that, let's see if we can figure out a way to make that happen. This would be good pieces for this one. So I'm just going to tear a couple of them. Trying to see how much will be on each page. Like that. And if you wanted them to be even, you could just see where the one before was and glue like that. And then set your papers in however you wanted them. And I'm wondering if it's really gonna, I'm gonna fold this. If it's really gonna matter, I'm gonna kind of look and see what it looks like. Another thing is that you could always put a fabric spine on. So it's not like they have to be even for that reason either, because we can cover this spine. So I'm just going to keep going. And I guess if I mess it up, I just mess it up. And I'm putting that right on the edge. Same with this one. Then I'm going to put glue on this. And I'm going to lay my paper where I want it, even it, and then press this with my fingers to make sure that that the spine is good and even. I hope that makes it. Like they're not lower, they're the same. You could probably also take like a ruler and make sure that they were okay all the way across. So there's our second sheet. I really like this. Okay, so my next page is this. Let's see, is it too... No, it's good. Okay, so we got this page. And I think I'm going to use just some of these scraps of jelly prints this time. Ooh, I like this one. This is one that we've done. And you can see my scraps aren't even the same size. I just tore them. Folding them in half. I think for these pieces, whatever you're hinging, you want them to be pretty sturdy, not real flimsy. Taking my finger and making sure they're right on the edge. So you're seeing what we got. And I've got these all jagged. They're not even. I mean, my pages here are even, but my tabs are not even. And I'm good with that. And I'm just going to keep going like I've done. Choosing different. I may do some as shapes. I'm thinking I want to punch some as a heart shape. I'll show that real quick. Hopefully I have enough of this to punch it double. Oh, I do. So I'm going to do this, I think, on one of them. I may even do 3 of these just because they're small and I want it to be pretty sturdy. Of course, I got an idea of where I might use that. I have a small piece of paper, a little shorty that I might use that on. But I'm just showing you, we would do the same. Glue it to the other side. So these hinges can be pretty much made from anything. And stickers, like I said, that might be kind of cool. These don't match, but just showing you a sticker like this, maybe. These are kind of wide. I don't necessarily want that big, but something like that would look good. So I'm going to finish gluing these together, and then we'll be back. Sorry, I've been just working along, and I realized I only have like 3 pages left, and I really wanted to come back on and show you some things that I have learned through the gluing it down. Little, tips or things that I think make it a little easier, maybe make it lay a little better. Sorry, I should have inked these before I come back on. These are just labels. I think they might be, well, I'm not sure. I started to say Tracy Fox, but I'm really not sure where they came from. And they're just labels that I've cut out. And I'm going to use them for this one. So I thought the last 3 pages, we could do them together. So I could kind of show you. And then I'm going to take you through the book as well. And The thing that this book was really quick and easy. The thing that took me the longest was deciding what I wanted to use for my tabs, because that's what makes this so much fun. Seriously, you can use anything. I have used, well, I'll just take you through it, because if I start listing things, I'll forget. I'm just going to ink this. This is one of my jelly prints on book page, and there's some good writing inside. So I I think that this might be more of a writing book, because there's a lot of good writing in here. So again, I've just folded it in two. I'm going to glue on this side and lay it down. And I've found out some really neat stuff about this book too. And I'm laying it pretty close to the edge. I don't want it to go over, but again, I'm still laying it close to the edge. And I have my other sheet kind of next to it where I think I'm going to glue it, so I can kind of decide where I want to do it at, where I want to put my hinges. And I have figured out, I said I didn't know if I wanted the hinges. That's like an engine, only a hinging. That I like them being all over the place, more so than exactly the same. Well, I'm not doing a very good job there. Okay. More so than exactly in the same spot. And I'll show you that in just a second, why I feel that way. And here's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of holding my paper up when I get ready to glue. As you get farther back in the book, this seems to be the easiest way for me to make sure there's still room. And I don't glue all the way over to the edge either, because there's going to be a little bit of lapse. So, I mean, you're going to get close, but you're not going to go all the way to the edge, or you don't really want to. So this is where I want that, about like that. And you see how I have just a little bit of space in here? Can you see the space I'm leaving? See it right in here? You want to do that so that as you fill up your book, and so I'm just pushing it over and then smushing, down. And if you're not exactly lined up where you want, just push it over where you want it to be. And then, push down your glue, and you'll still have your little seam down through there. But you want that so that as we're adding pockets and this and that, you'll have room to expand. Okay, so see, I've done my little hinges a little bit everywhere. I've done some in the middle, done them on the edges. And the reason I done some in the middle is, as I was going, I thought, it's kind of leaning like this. So I put some in the middle to keep it more flat. And the only thing is that as it grows, as we're building it, it kind of wants to slope. That's all going to be fixed when we start adding pockets, because your pockets, you tend to put them on the outside. So this actually will be a nice even book when it's done. So I just used, what did I use on that? Oh, I used the labels. Okay. And on this one, I think I have some of these. Well, that's kind of a little too busy, isn't it? Let's see. Like I said, this is what took me the longest always, was trying to figure out what I was going to use. I think since this one's so busy, I'm just going to do book page, and I've picked that for another reason too. On book page, if you don't have a really thick book page, just fold it. You can always, whatever you're wanting to use as a hinge, if you don't feel it's strong enough, just fold it. Make it, double ply or whatever. So I did this on several. I just folded them, glued them. Like so. And then folded them in half to put on my page. And that just made it a little bit stronger. I'm going ink around this. I inked the wrong side. I've decided I like this one better. And I'm going to get another piece and do the same thing. If it is words or something like that, you'll kind of want to make sure that you've got them the right way. I'll tell you something about this kind of a binding, though. I like this. It has some stamping on it. It'll go good with that. About this kind of binding, if you are a precise person, probably not for you. If you're like me and you're not a precise person, this is cool because you don't even have to have, you don't have to line them up right when you're gluing. You just put it where you think it looks good that time. Pull that off where it don't look upside down. It's very easy. There's no measurements. You don't have to have anything precise. I think it just really fits well. And I forgot to glue this. That wasn't smart. Let me glue that real quick. It's quick. It's easy because, like I say, there's no measurements. It doesn't have to be precise. Okay, so now I'm going to glue it to my other sheet. Make sure this is kind of how I want it. And I just kind of hold it there and push from the bottom, because as you build, it gets, you know, a little more difficult to lay it out straight. And make sure I've got my little line, fold it over, and push down. And I'm just going to open it up. And you still have time because your glue isn't going to, whoops, look, see, your glue isn't going to be 100% yet. So you still have time to move it. I'm just trying to leave some space and get it glued back with the amount of space I feel like it needs. So that looks good. Now I'm going to, and if you're too far over, you know, just push it back towards, see what I'm doing? I'm just pushing this, sliding it back so that everything stays pretty even through here. Doesn't have to be, because again, we can always cover the spine with fabric. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, because I'm kind of liking that, I don't know, rugged, vintagey looking book spine. I like that it's showing. Okay, we only have one more piece. This is the back. I think I wanted that to be the back, didn't I? Yeah. And I think, or do I want this to be the back? It's got a lot of texture going there. Kind of thought I wanted this to be, but now I'm liking this as the back better. Okay, well, what I want to use for the back again, I started with tickets. I kind of like the tickets. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it the way I had it. So I'm just gonna fold these in two again. We're gonna glue on our back. And I think I've done a tutorial before where I put fabric, where I hinged a book like this. Not like this, but I mean, I hinged a book. It wasn't done the same way. Kind of laying this where I think I'm going to want it. And so that I can put my ticket. I think I've done a tutorial like this before. I had a hinged book and I put fabric on the spine, but I don't know that I want to do that on this one because I like the way the spine looks, very rustic, and because I don't have a lot of room on my front, on my cover, to wrap it around since I've already done my cover. So that's going to look nice. Okay. Put glue on this. And then I'm going to open this up and show you the different hinge methods or things, not methods, different ways, different items. Spit it out that I have used for the hinges. I'm just trying to inspire you because I think you're really going to like this. I think that this is really going to be something that if you're grungy and you want to do things as you're going along, you're going to love this because it's super easy. And you can just, as you see things, you'll be like, ooh, I'll do that. I'll use that. That'll look good. Okay, see how I'm a little bit over? I'm just going to push that towards the middle. Super easy. Now, I'm going to open it back up. I still look good. I've still got my space in there. Everything's wonderful. Okay, so that is the book. What do you think? Isn't that super cool? I just really think that's neat. I really do. I'm not going to embellish it on this video, but I do need to put my 14 because I've used a lot of my jelly prints in this. Actually, this laying here, I think it needs to, maybe I'll end up putting it somewhere on the cover too. Let me get out my fabric that I was going to use for the 14. I don't really know where I'm going to put it. Might be too big. It might not look correct. You know, it might not look pleasing to the eye for this size of a book. I do like those. This fabric is nice. Something tells me it must be like a Tim Holtz or something. I'm not, like I say, I'm not exactly sure where I want to put that yet. I may put it on the front. Looks kind of good like that, doesn't it? Or I may put it on the back. I don't know. We're gonna study on that. So here are the different hinges. So for the front, we have the envelope. And we can put something in here. Use tickets on the first one. Some Italian paper. Some Italian paper. Sorry, Navy's getting me tickled. See his little hand? Oh, it's too far over. Some of the jelly print. Some book page. This one, I used a sticker and some of my homemade aged tape. This tape actually has some color in it. It's a little bit pink on one end. Thought that looked good. And this is where I started putting things in the middle to balance it. But I would just put a little something on each end as well. Again, with my homemade tape and one through the middle. This was a shorter piece, so I thought that that worked well. Here I cut 2 hearts out of book page, and I layered these. I actually used this book page that's showing is not. It's a lighter weight, and I had done some, it had been underneath a jelly print, so there's a little bit of paint on it, and I cut some more hearts out of rag paper and backed it so that it would be a little stronger. You see that little baby hand? What you doing, Navy baby? And then this is washi tape. Thought that looked kind of good. More of the hearts. This was out of the Italian paper. I didn't have to back these because it's pretty sturdy. And this was some of the jelly print. I had used the edge of a notebook pad and did some jelly print, and I just used those pieces. This is some of the wallpaper samples. I had done some stamping and stenciling on that. This was some of our bits. This was some of our bits that we distress sprays, and we scrunched it all up, and I can't remember. I'll try to remember to put that link down below, but that's what that is. That was where our scraps, and we put them in a big bucket and sprayed them with distress sprays. This is some of the jelly prints. more of the jelly. No, this is some Italian paper that we did jelly print on, and then I sewed through them. We just made little pieces. We had little, this is where we were altering paper. And more of, this is vintage, some kind of vintage Italian maybe, or French document. I just had scraps, so I used that, more of the jelly print pieces. And this piece, I used a long one versus having two. And it's just book page. So, and again, it's got a little bit of paint and things where it was laying underneath a jelly print. And I just pulled one long piece instead of the two slips. And this is some of that rust dye paper. These are some of the calculator tape that I had tea dyed. And I folded them like I showed you I did on the book page, just to give them a little bit more strength. And then I just stamped some numbers like it would be on a receipt tape. This is more of our scraps that we made with the distress inks. Kind of got stuck here, I think. This is some washi that I've done in a long strip versus the two strips. What I've done here, this is, well, I've got my back page folded underneath. Okay, so this is a sticker and some of my handmade distress tape. More of the, this was the paper that we altered. It was like a hot pink, and we did the jelly prints on it, and then I sewed through some of it. The little labels you saw me put on, book page, and the tickets. So what do you think? What do you think? Do you like it? Do you think it's too grungy? Not really your style? And the thing, also another thing, if you use stickers, make sure that you don't have much of the sticky poking out, or you'll, you know, feel it, or things could get stuck to it, whatnot. And then another thing, like I say, you can always put fabric on the edge. And I may do that. I don't know. I could just do a piece big enough, which that might look kind of good, actually. Big enough for the spine, not have it wrap around. But I do like the way that looks, that layered look in there. I really like how we can use all of our jelly prints in here. I really am happy with this. I like how easy it was, and that we have a complete journal. So I'm going to add some, you know, do the embellishments. I'm going to add, I may add a spine. I just don't know yet. And I'm going to go ahead and put my 14. Even though I'm not exactly sure this is where I'm going to put it. I don't know. Maybe I want to put it, hang it like from charms and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do, for picture's sake, I'm going to just lay it right there. I'm going to initial this because it's not really done, but this project part of it is done. Just going to initial on the little Italian paper. But there is our day 14. I'm sorry I was late for our coffee girls, but this project was something I'd been wanting to do. I'm actually going to, because I wanted to use the papers that Joanne had gifted to me, just to show a way that I would use them. I'll show you another thing real quick. I'm going to probably do the same thing with these papers. I had a little piece of Italian paper left with that good stenciling, and I'll be able to use this inside the book so the stenciling doesn't get lost on that tea dye. And then I have a jelly print, and these were some more of those pages, that beautiful paper from Wendy, Papered Rooster, that was gifted to me. And I think that's, I'm going to make a book with all of those. Very similar to this one right here. So I hope you like this project. I hope you'll give it a try. Lots of fun. So easy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.